Hi. You win. How do you win? Oh, because you were first? I told Zach that I was going to be streaming, but he's not here. I only told him like a minute ago. So. Yep. There you go. He'll probably be turning up sooner or later. You're tired, yeah. I know. You're tired quite often. So. Ow. Keep doing that to myself. I'm cute. He wants to marry me. Same. I don't know what to talk about now. It's just you. I don't know what to say or anything. Thankfully, it doesn't feel like it's a billion degrees in the room anymore, which is nice. Oh. Your dad is here? Why? You mean like in this? In the stream? Why? I mean, I don't mind, but I don't know why. It's kind of weird that you two are the only ones that have showed up. Sounds funny with his iPad and my iPhone at the same time. Yeah. Indeed, it does. Hi. Hello. Woo, you have a new subscriber. Yeah. 15 minutes consent. Oh, look, Revenant streaming. Yeah, it's a thing, indeed. How's life and such? This feels weird now. Oh, he left. Pretty good so far. Got 5 people asking questions. Nice. I was one of them. I might do a Q&A sometime, but I don't know. I want to do it whenever I get to 200 subscribers, but I don't know how long that is going to be. So I might do one like when in January, like for the new year or something. How are you? I assume you're asking me. I'm okay. And J Nation will most likely be asking like 40 questions, like he did that for that other person. That'd be quite. You'd have to make an entire video just for him. I'm sad. I'm so far away from you now. I know. I know. But at least you'll be coming back next week. So true. Yeah. If somebody asked me 40 questions, I would be a little bit overwhelmed. I wouldn't mind that much. I would still do it, but it's like it seems like overkill. I feel like 5 is a good like maximum. And if you go above 5, then that's a little much. 40 is just yeah. Can you ask 60 questions? Sure. 61 now. Yeah, I guess so. So I feel like I'm not very good at these, like when nobody is like saying anything, because I don't know what to talk about. I'm not good at just talking. I listened to the rest of that Wolfhard album that came out today. That was pretty good. I don't. I really liked their last album. But I don't know if it was better than that or not. How cute you are. I'm not that cute. Yeah, their last album was pretty good. So, Donnie asked the most questions so far, but that'll probably change once MJ sees the video. I would not be surprised. Yes, you are. Fine. Zach, I'm sure that you are seriously looking forward to my Vessels review that is probably going to come out next week. That's like the most anticipated event of your life, I'm sure. Oh, you bet, yeah. I actually really haven't listened to any of the things, like any of the Vessels 2.0 songs that have come out since they were first released. So you should make a song about me. I already did twice. I'll probably give them another listen so I can talk about the new stuff. And I've listened to the original album plenty of times already, so should be good as far as that goes. But Dad thinks I'm funny. Cool. Should make a song about you. I feel like that would be much more difficult for me. I don't know. No. No. About make a song about my dad. I don't know how that would go. Talk about. MJ's been gone for a while. Yeah, he did say he was going to work, though, didn't he? So, wonder if he'll ever turn up tonight. I had to work today, but wasn't that long. Usually, when I'm at school, I only work 5-hour shifts per day. So, today was only 4 hours. You had to move today, I know, yeah. Yeah. Evan, I have to say your first question's pretty difficult. Yeah, It would be for me too. So I've got to ask the difficult questions that you have to put thought into, and then when you come up with the answer, you're like, no, this is wrong. But I don't know. I honestly am not sure what I would say either. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, I could have given you more. Like, I could have said 10 bands instead of 5, but then I feel like your answer would be too long. What? You're gonna go to bed? Okay. Have a good sleep and stuff, I guess. You're just gonna leave me here with Zach? Just kidding. Okay. Now? Or later? That's right. And I'm tired. Yeah. I know you're. Now. Okay. You can see. Why do you need a picture of me? You can see me already. I can't keep this. That's true. I keep a picture of MJ by my bedside, though that's the last thing I see before I fall asleep. Yeah, that's I don't know what to say to that. So, but I have a picture of her right next to me, so I can just look over and be like, "Oh, hey." So that's technically by my bedside, although it's not facing that way. But so, is anything exciting going on in the life of Zach? Since I don't know what else to talk about. It's like the very first stream I did had like 5 people here at one time, and that was great. And then it's just like I only have 1 here, and it's still fine, but it's like, just, not as much to talk about. Nothing ever goes on in the life of Zach. Yeah. I mean, my life recently has largely consisted of school and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. And today there was work too, but it's not particularly exciting. Mr. Reed asked a lot of questions. Really? Actually gonna look because I only saw me, someone else, and Tony Bivens. So oh wow, he really did, didn't he? I'm just looking through to see if there's any good questions. Favorite movie of all time is a pretty good one. Would you do a ranking of your current fans that you know of? What kind? I mean, good albums by bad bands. That's a pretty interesting question. Usually, you hear the opposite. Guilty pleasure albums. Feeding the Machine. What's your favorite Red album lyrically? I think that's kind of in it because I think generally most of them are pretty strong. So yeah, I don't know. Let me think. I don't know what mine would be. But mine would, for lyrics, for Red, I don't know. I mean, part of why Innocence and Instinct and Of Beauty and Rage are my favorite albums by them is because of the lyrics and the themes and stuff. So probably one of those. So got some interesting questions here. Yeah. See, I'm just trying to think of things to talk about. I already know MJ will leave some questions. The main question is how many? Yeah. Yeah, that is the question right there. I should have like a list of like things that if I'm doing a stream, like the things that I talk about if there's nothing else to talk about or something like that. I don't know. I was kind of annoyed earlier though because I showed you that thing about the Insomnium vinyl, and I was thinking that could be a new album just because it looked like something a little different. Plus, it was upside down, so I thought they might be trying to hide what the name of the album was and everything. But after turning it right side around and zooming in a bit, it does look like it's just for Across the Dark. So, and they are going to be pressing finals for their first 4 albums. So I was like, oh, I thought that was going to be their new album, but they are releasing one next year, which is good. The new All That Remains album. I might check that out. I did listen to a little bit of that song they released. It was okay. I mean, I didn't listen to very much of it, and honestly, I don't remember. So, but I think I remember thinking that it was okay. So, yeah, I'll have to listen to them a little bit more. I might listen to that album when it comes out. The thing is now there's just a lot of albums coming out, so I kind of fall behind a little bit. There's still a couple of albums that have come out this year that I've barely listened to, and even though I want to listen to them, I just haven't. Or I might have listened to them like once, and I want to listen to them more. But again, I just haven't. Could end up being your favorite album of the year. Yeah, who knows? Firepower has taken the lead. Yeah, as far like for you, I would kind of be surprised if Firepower ended up not being your number one, but you never know. I mean, Firepower was still a good album, but for me, it's not my favorite. But it's definitely uh, a really great album. It'll probably be somewhere in my top 10, I guess. I just don't know where. Probably, I'd imagine if I had to place it right now, I would guess seventh or eighth, maybe. But that's just because there have been so many other albums that have come out this year that were really good. It'll be number one if All That Remains doesn't hold up as much. Yeah. Yeah, because there's been quite a few good albums that came out this year, so it wouldn't be low because it's a bad album. It would just be low because there are a lot of other really good albums that I just personally prefer a little bit more. I think 2018 has been a crappy year for music only because there isn't that many bands coming out with albums. See, it's the opposite for me. There have been a ton of albums by bands that I, listen to and stuff that either have come out or are going to come out. So, yeah. Like, Yeah. Like just this month and going like a couple days after and a couple days before, there are 6 albums that have come out just within the span of roughly a month, or a couple of them haven't come out yet. But Soilwork and Knives, but those will probably be pushed into 2019. I wouldn't be surprised. Soilwork, I think, could either come out early next year or late this year, but I'm not sure which. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but I'd be fine either way as long as it's good. But yeah, I have a whole list of like albums that have come out or are going to come out this year. So there's 27. At least Soilwork keeps us up to date. Knives, you don't even know with them anymore. Yeah, that's true. So I think Knives is pretty good. It's just, it's been so long since they've released anything. I mean, they're not like the worst band when it comes to that, but as we heard from Knives was almost a year ago when they announced the new album. Yep. Unfortunately. Yep. Oh, on my list of albums, I actually forgot one. So that makes it 28. Probably not going to come out this year. For Knives, no, probably not. I'd imagine if it was, then they would be talking about it a little more. Unless, well, I don't know. I mean, there have been some surprise albums, I guess, but lately, but like Gone last year was quite a surprise album. It was like they teased it for recordings of like the studio stuff like a month or so before it came out, if I remember right, or something, and then it just suddenly came out. So that was kind of a surprise, but still possible Knives could be releasing the album this year, but you wouldn't count on it. I probably wouldn't either. I mean, of course, anything's possible, but I would not expect it. Although, it could be that they're just not telling us about it. But, yeah. Yeah. There's a few bands too that are like working on new albums that have not actually been announced and everything, and don't know when they're coming out, like Soilwork and a few other bands. So it sucks being a Ryan Clark fan sometimes. Yeah, I guess it does. I'm actually kind of waiting for some new stuff from the bands that Christian Alvestam is in, because he is the vocalist for a band called Svavelvinter that's like entirely Swedish lyrics. They did release a new album this year, but I'm looking forward to whenever he releases new stuff from like Solution 45 or even Miseration, which I think hasn't released an album since like 2012. So, if I remember right, at least. And yeah, I don't even know if Miseration is still a thing. I think Solution 45 still is, but yeah, I really hope that comes out sometime soon. You know what? Breaking Benjamin was supposed to release Ember in 2017. I actually didn't. Did I know that? I might have known that. I think I did know that, but I forgot. Maybe Knives is going through something similar, although they aren't signed under a crappy label, I don't think. Yeah, it could be possible. I know that the label can kind of be annoying sometimes. Like, just as an example, I know that with Sabaton, their album Metalizer was supposed to be their first album, and it was supposed to come out like 2004-ish, I think. But for some reason, their label didn't let them release the recording, so it didn't get to come out until like 2007. So they ended up actually releasing 2 albums before Metalizer came out. So, yeah, it was kind of weird and slightly confusing, but yeah. Oh wow, yeah, it was that was a thing that happened. And you can. I do think 2019 will be the best year for music in a while. It very well could be. I don't know what the best year recently was because I think the last few years have all been pretty good. 2016 was pretty good. I think last year was pretty good. I would say probably last year was not as good as 2016, but was still pretty good. And this year I think has been fairly good as well. So I don't know. I mean, certainly if we get some albums from certain bands, like Insomnium's going to release a new album. As I Lay Dying, I would hope and maybe expect them to release an album in 2019. So that might happen. August Burns Red, I feel like, could release an album next year. Let me think. Soilwork, of course, if theirs gets pushed off, they could. 2016 was a great year for music. Metallica, Megadeth, Insomnia, and Vector, yeah. I heard that the Metallica and Megadeth albums were good. I don't know if I think I've heard a little bit from them, but not very much. Vector I've listened to a little bit. But yeah, 2016, let me think what came out in 2016. Of course, there was Insomnia. Sabaton came out with an album. Those are the only 2 I'm remembering right now for some reason. Don't know why. August Burns Red will most likely release an album next year since they release a new album every 2 years, probably fall. Yeah, probably fall. They're actually releasing a Christmas EP. I don't remember exactly when, but it's within the next couple months. It's going to have a few of the songs that they've already done on Christmas albums and a couple new ones too. So, yeah. but I don't expect that would push off the release of a new album very much. Figured it'd be around Christmas time. Well, yeah, of course. But yeah, August Burns Red I'm looking forward to, because even though personally, you know, my ranking of their albums is not in chronological order, I think that generally they get better with each album. So hoping it's better than Phantom Anthem is. It probably will be. If their track record is any indication. Probably new Devil Wears Prada album next year too, but I'm not really into that much anymore. I never really got into them. I listened to a little bit of their stuff, and it just was never for me, I guess. Even back when I was into metalcore, I listened to them, and it just didn't work. So I don't know why I can't remember anything that came out in 2016. Powerwolf, they released an album in 2016. That was their best album until this year, because I think the one they released this year was their best. But before that, I think the last one was the best one. Yeah. I don't remember. I don't have a good memory. I think did Solution 45 release one of their albums? I know they did like a double album where they did 2 parts, and they were released a year apart. I think the second part was released in 2016, and I prefer the second part over the first. So I think that was released in 2016 at least. Either 2015 or 2016. Most likely another Red album. I hope so. I wouldn't necessarily expect it, since they have said that they might not release any full albums. I'm guessing that you saw the statement they released a little before Gone came out, but where they said that they might do just singles and stuff like that, and releasing them more often rather than full albums, because that's just the way that the music industry is heading towards. But I hope they do continue releasing albums, because I like that format. I think they're very good at it. Still have hope, yeah. I hope they continue to do that, because, I mean, it could, I guess, in some ways be harder for them to get new fans, but the fans they already have, I'm sure, will still continue to support it. Even if they end up, I think part of it, too, was that Gone was the last album they had on their label for their contract. So they're either going to have to get a new label, or they're going, or renew the contract or whatever, or go independent. And I'm sure that their fans would be willing to support them to help fund an album. And even if it's not able to be like, you know, a really long, like full-length album or anything, I'm sure we would be able to at least, you know, get something. I have this bad feeling that Red is more passionate about pop music now, since there were a couple pop songs on Gone, only releasing singles in the future. So I don't really feel like that. I mean, the singles thing is more of just how the music industry in general is. It seems like, at least. As far as poppy songs on Gone, that was only like 2 songs out of the 10. So I don't really see that being an issue. In fact, I would be more concerned about Demon Hunter going that way, because they themselves said in a couple of interviews that it was a few years ago, but they themselves said that they listened to a lot of pop while they were touring. No one else is saying they're going to only release singles. Well, I guess not, but well, maybe, but I haven't heard about it. But I think that was similar to what they said, was releasing smaller amounts of music, but more often. Ryan, please use your brain. Yeah, I mean, I don't think all pop music is bad. I just generally don't like it, but I'll hear a pop song every so often that I'll think is okay. So I even like pop and rap. Occasionally country the rarest probably, but I'll hear songs from all kinds of genres that every once in a while that I don't like in general, but I'll hear a song and I'll be like, okay, that's decent. So, because I think good music can come in any style. It just depends on how good the actual musician is. As well as Outlive is in their discography, it's not pop. Well, no. Aims more towards rock. Yeah, it does. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see Red going that way, though. Because, like, I can't really say the same for Unstoppable because that was a cover, so it's a little harder for me to say. But as far as the song Gone is concerned, to me, even though it was a little bit more electronic focused and a little more pop kind of sounding in some ways, to me still felt very much like a Red song. And that was what was important to me, I guess. But not necessarily from the sound, but kind of I don't know. I don't know if it makes any sense, but like if we were to compare the song Gone and let's say the poppiest song on Release the Panic, which is Die For You, probably, I think that Die For You feels very much less like a Red song than Gone does. What was your first Red song? Yours was Already Over. Mine was something from Until We Have Faces, because that was the first anything that I heard from them. So I'm not sure what it was. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know the exact song, what my first song from them was, but it was something from Until We Have Faces. I know when I first got into them, I really liked like Not Alone and Let It Burn, because of course they were the ballads, they were the softer songs. I think I also liked Faceless. I probably liked Buried Beneath. I wasn't as big of a fan of like Feed the Machine and Watch You Crawl and stuff, because those were kind of the heavier songs, and that wasn't so much my thing back then. So yeah, I'm not sure, but it was something from that album. But my first songs from outside of Until We Have Faces, I don't know which ones I heard first, but there were three, yeah, I think three. There was Breathe Into Me, Already Over, and Let Go. And soon after that was like Gave It All Away and probably like Lost or something. Gave It All Away is an underrated Red song. I would agree with that. It was one of the first ones that I heard, and my opinion of it isn't as good as it used to be, because I just think that in general they've released better songs, but it is still definitely underrated, I think. Although personally I would say that in general End of Silence is a little bit overrated. Like where some people say that it is their best album, I don't understand that at all. I mean, there are some of their best songs on there for sure, but it also has, I think, kind of towards the middle end-ish, like the I think the first half of the album is way better than the second half, basically. Although the second half has Hide, which is a really good song, but the first half has like Already Over, Let Go, Pieces, I think. Or would that be in the second half? I think probably second half, but I don't know. I need to look that up because it's going to bother me. Oh yeah, it would technically be in the, or no, because it has Already Over Part 2, which, so Pieces is kind of in the middle, so it could go with either one. But I think generally the first half is better than the second half of the album, so. Because the second half has like Wasting Time, which is okay, but it's not that great. I would say the same thing about Break Me Down. Yeah. Gave It All Away is all right, but what do you think of that cover from earlier? You mean the one in that compilation? Because that was kind of interesting. The thing that got me with like that was like the faces he was doing. That was just. Yeah, it was interesting for sure, but not necessarily in a good way. MJ showed me that one day, and I lost it the first time I saw it. Yeah, I think I did too. So, yeah, it was. It's quite an interesting thing, I suppose. I feel like I do that so much. Like my elbows feel like they're like really stiff, so I have to like extend them like that and like crack them. And I do it like at least a bajillion times a day. It's kind of annoying. And I don't know if that's like a good thing. It's probably not. But I don't know. Oops. Why is my flashlight? Yeah. Trying to think of things to talk about like again. There was that Fight the Fury song that came out. You already know what my thoughts on that were, but I honestly don't remember much of it. It just kind of, I listened to it and I was like, that was kind of meh, and forgot about it. So we'll see how their EP is, but I don't have particularly high expectations. Although Jen Ledger's EP that she did earlier this year, I didn't like that when it first came out, but I listened to it again like a week ago, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So, or probably not a week ago, but fairly recently, like within the last month or so, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit more. So we'll see. Because I had barely listened to it since it came out too. So it's kind of weird how your opinion can change so drastically over time like that. Turn that off. I don't think I need it. And that'll probably help with being able to hear me at least a little bit. Used to not like Trivium that much, but now I think they're one of the best 2000s metal bands. Yeah, there's a lot of bands that I used to not like quite so much that I actually became a fan of. Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of them for different reasons, but. I think there was once a time when I thought I would never get into August Burns Red. So look where that went. And same thing with like black metal in general. But now I like it quite a bit. So never used to be into Dream Theater. Yeah, I haven't listened to much Dream Theater. I've heard very good things, but I just haven't listened to them too much. But I've heard them. What I've heard from them was good, but I just haven't got around to listening to more of their stuff. Yeah. I mean, like you heard in one of the other streams that I did back in 5th grade, I preferred to listen to Justin Bieber over Guns N' Roses. So I guess that's a pretty big change in opinion. This fan, I have a fan right here that blows on me while I'm at my laptop, and it's like so dusty. I'm trying to get the dust out of like all the little crevices. It's difficult. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I'm just gonna turn it on to try to like get the dust out, but then it's gonna come flying at my face. It's good enough. Know who's overrated? AC/DC, definitely. I can't get into them too much. I think there's quite a few overrated bands though. So, but it kind of makes sense. I think they were like one of the first big rock bands, or something like that, or so makes sense, I guess. So a lot of the, the more popular like rock and metal bands are, the older ones that were there when it first kind of took off and whatnot. So like a little bit of AC/DC, but you have a hard time going back to them. Yeah. But the older bands are typically the most popular anyway, so that goes for a lot of things. It goes for, even like Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Metallica, etc. They're probably the most well-known metal bands out there because they were, fairly early, and they were one of the more popular ones back in the 80s and 70s and whatnot. It's true, maybe that's why a lot of people say bands like Metallica are living on past success. Yeah, I kind of feel that way a little bit. I mean, of course, I still think that, you know, the bands are good and everything, but I feel like if they hadn't been like some of the like classic bands, I don't think they would be as popular as they are. I'm sure they would still be popular, but maybe not as much. You can see that a little bit, but their newest album from 2016 was good. Yeah, I think I heard a song from that, but I can't remember which one it was. It was good, but it's been a while since I heard it, so. But then I also typically, from what I've heard of it, don't care too much for thrash metal anyway. I don't know why. I feel like I should, but there's not much of it that I've heard that really I absolutely loved or anything. I think part of it is kind of the vocals, because the vocals in thrash metal, at least to me, seem much more kind of a mixture of like yelling and singing, which I don't really like that much for some reason. Like if you listen to like Slayer or something, their vocals are kind of more yelly kind of sounding, at least from what I've heard. Like thrash metal used to like it more than Melodeath, used to be the other way around. Yeah, because I'm probably that way. I like Melodeath more, but then again, that's probably my favorite subgenre in general. So I don't know. But even then, there's within Melodeath, there's several different bands that sound very different. You know, like Insomnium sounds different from Amon Amarth, which sounds different from Soilwork, which sounds different from Sitecore, etc., etc. Not into Slayer, your least favorite out of the big four. Yeah, I haven't listened to much of the big four. I mean, the most one that I've listened to is Metallica. I've heard a few songs by Slayer, a couple songs from Megadeth, and I might have heard something from Anthrax, but those are probably the ones that I've heard the least. Oh, MJ's here. He just sent his questions. Did you send him a bajillion questions like we thought? You got into Anthrax recently, yeah. I'm going to look to see if you sent a lot of questions. He did do 40 questions. Holy crap. We were thinking you might do that, and you did not let us down. That's pretty good, MJ. Thank you for not letting us down. Just before you even got here, he was talking about the Q&A, and he was like, I bet MJ is going to send, 40 questions. Have fun with the Q&A, Zach. Most of the video is probably going to be you answering MJ's questions. Oh my goodness. I mean, since I don't know what else to talk about, I might end up stealing some of those questions and talking about them right now. So as long as you guys don't mind, I might do that just because I have no idea what else to talk about. Which is pretty much my only problem with streaming. I enjoy doing it, but sometimes I just have no idea what to talk about. Because it's like tonight I was like, I feel like doing a stream, and then I started streaming, and then I was like, now what? What kind of questions are there? I feel like the third question is somewhat directed at people like me. At least I didn't ask 51 questions like I did in one of Billy's Mental Militia Q&As. You only answered the one about Nick. There's several about Nick, so... But yeah, if you guys are fine with it, I might steal a couple of those questions and talk about those. Because there's a few interesting ones there, I guess, that would give me something to talk about. Nick might be watching, but you probably didn't think about that. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. Let's see. Well, there's the first question. Would you rather for one day walk around school wearing half a shirt or one pant leg? I don't know. Probably one pant leg, I guess. I'll go with that. What albums would you consider unlistenable, nothing redeemable? Not albums, but I really don't like Nicki Minaj. So, wait, don't do my question. Save it for the Q&A. Are you talking about me answering questions? Or Zach, don't answer them yet. Because I just figured I have nothing else to talk about, so I might as well steal them. Wahahaha. Yeah, he won't. Okay. Yeah, Nicki Minaj, I feel like is I haven't heard a whole lot of their stuff, but my girlfriend, she doesn't really like her either, but she likes to annoy me, so she'll find some of them, and yeah, I can answer them. Cool. I'm just playing with this. My roommate somewhere found this. I'm guessing it's a Chinese finger trap, and I've just been playing it on and off all evening. I don't know why. Any bands recently you've wanted to get into? Just bands, well, just bands that I've been wanting to get into recently. Well, since I've listened to stuff from Iron Maiden, Metallica, and Death, I guess I could say them. All That Remains I've been interested in. I just haven't got around to. Yeah, probably quite a few, but I can't really think of them. Albums or box sets that are signed. I have Gone by Red, that is signed. Woohoo. Good ones. Yeah. Are there any albums this year that have disappointed me? I need to bring up that list of albums that have come out this year in order for me to actually remember this. Eonian by Dimmu Borgir disappointed me initially, but now I actually really like it, so I guess that could count. Honestly, generally, I think this year overall is pretty good. Ledger, the Jen Ledger side project that she's doing, her EP, again, like the Dimmu Borgir album, disappointed me initially. But then I listened to it again like a month ago for the first time since it came out in May, I think. And I actually really liked it. So there's that. Disturbed. At least the songs that they've released so far, I didn't really care for that much. Jen Ledger is decent looking. Yeah. Vessels 2.0 by Starset. The album itself I like, but the deluxe edition part of it. Memphis Mayfire is releasing a new album. They released one single from it so far, and they released one like sometime earlier in the year, which was I don't know if that's going to be on the album or not, but that song and the one they just released were both incredibly mediocre. Then again, I don't really listen to them that much anymore, so that's kind of to be expected, but oh well. Yeah, there's not that much. Most of the albums that I've heard this year I thought were pretty good, so yeah. Excuse me. Do I know POD and 1,000 Foot Krutch? POD I've heard of, but I haven't listened to. 1,000 Foot Krutch I think is pretty good. I like a couple of their albums. They're not like incredibly great, I think, but they're good. First R-rated movie I ever saw, I believe it was Terminator 2, but it was on TV, so it was like censored or edited or whatever. So I don't know if that counts, but if that doesn't count, then it was some Chinese movie where I think it was like all Chinese and it was with subtitles. Because I used to be really into like movies with like, kung fu and martial arts and stuff like that. So my dad and I watched this movie that was R-rated that was like that, and it was good. It had some good action scenes and stuff, but I don't remember much of it. So either that or Terminator 2, if that counts. Looks like the only ones I won't answer are the ones about Ridge and Max and Nick. Yeah, that's probably smart. Billy reviewed a new song by a band called Amaranth. I know them, and I like them. The new songs they've released 2 for their new album. I don't know. I don't listen to them that often, but I do like them. The first song they released, 365, was okay. I liked it decently enough. And then the other song I only just heard today, I think it only came out today. That was all right, too. But, yeah. Not a huge fan of them, but I do like them. But I would expect that neither of you would be that much into them because they are one of the more poppier style metal bands that I've heard. Of course, Billy would rather review Amaranth than the new All That Remains song. Yeah. They tend to lean more towards pop than a lot of metal bands do. Because it's kind of a mixture of kind of like metalcore-ish style kind of thing with pop and stuff like that. What you mean? I don't believe in God. I talk to him every day. I feel like that's a reference that I don't understand. What do you think are some of the worst lead singer replacements in rock and metal? I thought that would be an interesting question, but I can't think of any. because most of the bands that I like haven't had that happen, I don't think. Let me. Have there been? I don't know. The only one I can think of is 3 Days Grace, but even then, I think both singers are pretty good. So, in fact, I might actually prefer the new singer over the old singer. But then again, I'm not that into 3 Days Grace anyway. Yeah, I don't know. In school, do you prefer working in a group or by myself? Typically by myself, but I'm usually pleasantly surprised when I work in groups, at least good ones. Like last year, I had an art class where I did a group project, and I had fun doing that. So. Well, he has good taste in music for the most part, but some stuff is questionable. Yeah. I mean, I think it just comes down to taste. And I mean, whether or not music is good is typically subjective anyway. So, because I don't believe that there is necessarily any completely 100% objectively good music. But, yeah. Do you always break into your... Oh my god. Yeah, there's Liberty Mutual and Allstate. Okay. Have I seen Princess Bride? I have. It was pretty good. It was actually my band teacher in high school. It was his favorite movie, and we watched it every year. It was pretty good. I like it. Least favorite movie genre is probably horror because I hate being scared. Metal subgenres I want to dive deeper into. Pretty much just classic stuff. There's not really any general subgenres. I mean, there's not really any... I don't really go for particular subgenres. I just think, like, if I see an album, I just like, oh, that looks cool, and then I listen to it, or, you know, a song or whatever. So, that. Favorite and least favorite Iron Maiden album artwork. I'm not going to go with Iron Maiden. I'm just going to go with in general, because I really like album artwork. My favorite of all time is probably Shadows of the Dying Sun by Insomnium. I don't know why, but I'm just really drawn to it for some reason. Other than that, Beauty and Rage by Red. I actually did a list of this, but I haven't done a video about it. So I'm going to go to that so I can actually remember things. I can find it, at least. Where is it? Why can't I find it? Where is it? There it is. Yeah, I like As I Lay Dying, The Powerless Rise, and Frail Words Collapse as well. I really like those artworks. Winter's Gate's pretty cool. War of Ages, which is a band that I don't listen to that much, but the album artwork on their newest album, Alpha, is actually really cool. End versus Beginning by Rise to Fall has really cool artwork. Pretty much anything by Demon Hunter generally has good artwork. Yeah. Least favorite, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. There was one Behemoth album that I think the vocalist Nurgle actually made, and it looks like crap. I can't remember which album it was. I think it was like their third album or something, but it is not good. Yeah. That's about all the questions I want to answer. So now I have nothing to talk about again. Nobody is saying anything. Hey, MJ's back. I've been sitting here literally doing nothing for like 10 minutes. 45 questions. Nice. Oh, wow. Sorry. Yeah, that's fine. I was thinking I might end it just because nobody was here, but I figured I'd wait it out for a little just to see. And now Zach pops back up again. uh. Yeah. Got rid of the questions about Nick, Ridge, and Max. So did you like add in new? Because you said weren't there 40 before? So did you like take those out and add new ones in their place? Yeah, you added in some new ones. Nice. So now I'm gonna go back and see if there's any other ones. So I have something to talk about. Or at least just because I'm interested in seeing what you asked. Because you had some very interesting questions. There wasn't really much. So except the one showing off band shirts thing, which I would do if I had more. Maybe once I get more, I'll do that. Couldn't get to 51, which I know Zach isn't very happy with me about. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Trying to hit up some small bands to see if they want to be featured in a series of yours. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, Vigester. I don't think I actually listened to them. I know that you've mentioned them a few times, but I don't think I've really listened to them that much. Can't wait to see my cameo in the series. Yeah, MJ, you can be like the guy that dies 5 minutes in, or no, like 2 minutes into the episode. Check out Colorblind. I actually do that right now because why not? Let's see. You can just be a ghost or someone's conscience. It's interesting, at least, I guess. I would say I'm not like, I don't love it. But then again, stuff like this sometimes just doesn't really work for me. But it's cool. Understandable, yeah. I feel like that answer probably doesn't surprise you too much, but it's interesting. So that was that. Doesn't, but I know there's a reason they're smaller and you think they're underrated. So, and no, not just saying that because I know them. Yeah. You'll be right back. You're going to be right back just like you have been many other times. Then 2 hours later. Yeah. Stuff like that, just, I don't know. Some bands I can acknowledge are, there's nothing wrong with them. Like even that, I didn't think there was necessarily anything wrong with it. And I can understand the appeal for some people. It just, for me, doesn't really work. If that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. So that's that. Or something. Yeah, and it's that way for a lot of, like, even like movies and stuff. Like, let's say Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody seemed to love that movie, and I thought it was good. I didn't see anything that was necessarily wrong with it. By all means, I should have loved it, but for some reason, it just didn't work for me, as well as some of the other Marvel movies had. So I can definitely see why people enjoyed it and everything, but for me, it just wasn't quite there. So, same thing happened with Winter Soldier, actually. Really need to get on top of watching some of these movies. Like for the Marvel ones, I still haven't seen Infinity War, Black Panther, or Thor Ragnarok. So if you ever feel like you're untalented, just remember there's the kid that covered a Megadeth song. Yeah. Haven't seen any of those either, but you do want to, yeah. I really want to, and there's other movies too, but even those ones I want to see, but I just haven't got around to it. Like even like the Lego Batman movie. Like, the Lego movie is one of my all-time favorite movies, and Batman is one of my favorite superheroes. So I was really excited for the Lego Batman movie, which came out like over like a year and a half ago, and I still haven't seen it. I just haven't got around to it. You're on POF right now. Most of these women aren't into country, or are into country. Wow. For me, music wouldn't necessarily be a deal breaker, but it'd be kind of weird, I guess. That thumbnail, I know, right? I was just going to do something like what I had done the last few times, but I was like, yeah, I'll do something different this time. Country, RIP. Yeah. There's some country that I have heard that was okay, but generally I don't. Like I said earlier, I can hear a song from a genre that I don't like most of the time, like pop or rap or country, but I might hear a song every so often that's all right. So you don't want a female version of Nick. Yeah. Which isn't likely, but you never know. Like let's say rap, for example. My girlfriend really likes NF, so I've heard some of his stuff, and he's all right. I think he's one of the better rappers that I've heard. So rap, RIP. Yeah, like I said, most of it I don't care for, but I hear some occasionally that's okay. You like rap, but pop and country you don't like, but once in a long while you like something here and there. Yeah, me too. Yeah. What cartoons did you watch when you were younger? Several. I like SpongeBob. That was always a big one for me. I still, like it, I guess. Not so much the newer seasons, but the older ones I might watch every so often. Oh, Zach asked a question too. I'll get to that after. Yeah, even like my girlfriend and I watched the first movie like last fall or winter or something, and I still enjoyed it just fine. So Avatar: The Last Airbender is still probably one of, if not my favorite show of all time. Then again, I don't watch that much TV anymore, but Avatar was really good. SpongeBob So Good died in 2007 or 2008. Yeah. Some of the newer stuff wasn't as good. The first few seasons were probably the best, although I've heard that it's getting better recently, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. I really liked Fairly Odd Parents a lot. Jimmy Neutron. Let me think. There was one that I was just thinking of, and I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, Danny Phantom. I liked Danny Phantom. I'm trying to think of for Disney. I was trying to think of ones for Disney because most of what I watched for cartoons was Nickelodeon. For Disney, I liked Kim Possible as a kid. Uh, so yeah, there was quite a few, but some of the more popular ones I didn't watch. Fozzies Home of Imaginary Friends was one of your favorites. I heard of that one, but I never wasn't that Cartoon Network though. I think I've said before I didn't have Cartoon Network at home growing up, so I didn't get to see those. But who do you think is the best rock band of all time? Well, considering Red is my favorite band, um, but yeah, probably them because they are my favorite band and they're a rock band, so therefore it kind of makes sense. So, but there's quite a few good rock bands though. So, uh, it's a hard one for you. Yeah. So I mean, my three favorite. Sorry, what I had to go do something. No, that's not what she's. Uh, I said, considering my favorite band of all time is Red, and they're a rock band, probably they are my favorite. But there are several good rock bands. Like I would say, if like my three favorites would probably be Red, Starset, and Breaking Benjamin. Um, so that's a thing. Other than that, I don't know. See, there's not much rock that I listen to outside of those three bands nowadays. Starset, of course, yeah. I just like Starset. I don't really know why. I just do. I like their sound. I think they have a good sound to them. Plus, I like the kind of sci-fi space theme that they had, and I've always been a sci-fi guy, so that kind of drew me to them too. Favorite rock band would probably be Led Zeppelin, and as far as modern rock, you'd agree with Red, yeah. I think definitely. Of course, I don't listen to as much classic bands in general, but as far as like modern bands, the best one that I've heard is definitely Red. Then Breaking Benjamin and Starset, I'm not really sure which one I prefer. Like I've said before, generally I go with Starset, but I think both are equally as good. But I just personally prefer Starset because I like their sound just a little bit more. If you like sci-fi, you might like Awaken the Guardian by Fate's Warning. I feel like I've heard of that band before, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Hmm. Yeah, because I feel like sci-fi and stuff, you don't really get a whole lot of that when it comes to like rock and metal and stuff. I mean, you get some bands um, for sure, but not a whole lot. Not nearly as many like in metal, at least, as like fantasy and stuff, because you got folk metal and stuff like that that talk a lot about fantasy. So it's an album, but you might like the song "The Sorceress." I suppose I'll listen to that now too, because apparently that's a thing. Uh, Band was Fate's Warning. Okay, let's see. You remember Ridge saying the most popular kid at his school likes BB, then how are they underrated? Yeah. Iron Maiden influence is definitely there. Yeah. From what I looked up, it's an 80s album too, so that kind of makes sense. which has BB bias. Yeah, I can hear the Iron Maiden influence in this for sure. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. They're released a new Arkman 5 teaser in early October. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. I like it. It is kind of unfortunate that you don't hear a whole lot of space and sci-fi kind of bands nowadays, or in general. Hopefully, it won't be too hard to make. Yeah, because I mean, there's Starset, there's Sitecore, which is more cyberpunk than sci-fi, although they're kind of similar or whatever, but or post-apocalyptic, I guess. A little bit of both of those. Inshine is kind of spacey sci-fi thing, but yeah, you don't get a whole lot of it, which is unfortunate. I wish we did, because I think it's a really cool kind of thing, but yeah. One episode is nearly done. Exciting. Prog metal has some sci-fi or fantasy type lyrics. Yeah, there's a lot of metal that has like fantasy, because there's all the like Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings inspired stuff, which I've never actually seen or read Lord of the Rings. Power metal, yeah, for sure. Well, I've seen the second Hobbit movie, and I have played Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, but that's all the experience with Lord of the Rings stuff that I've had. I want to at least watch the movies, but I just haven't. So, yeah. Used to film these series in order, but you have to do episode 4 soon, and the only one you got done with episode 1. Huh. You know, big doovies. Big movies do that as well. Yeah. That's true. When I was a doofies, yeah. When I was a kid, I was always interested in doing like short films and stuff. Like I would do stop motion movies with like my action figures and stuff and that kind of thing. Even now, like I play GTA 5, and on PC that has like a director mode where you can make little in-game movie type things. And I do that quite a bit too, so it's kind of fun. The Venom movie, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. It looks cool, but I feel like it can either be really good or really terrible. So I don't know. We will see. I hope it'll be good at least. And as far as I know, Sony still has the rights to some of the Spider-Man stuff, but Marvel has the rights to only I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I think Sony is doing their own thing with Venom or whatever. But if that doesn't work out, then I think that everything should just go right to Marvel because they can probably do it way better. I'd like for them to get a hold of like X-Men and Fantastic Four too, because that would be cool to see with like the Avengers and whatnot. And nobody can seem to do. Fox can't seem to do very well with the Fantastic Four, so. And X-Men seems to mostly be either hit or a miss. So. Max's cameo in Spider-Man 2. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 was good. I remember I used to love that in all three movies, really, as a kid. Still do. But I haven't watched them in forever. There's some movies that it's like I haven't seen in a long time that I want to rewatch, and those are three of them that I want to rewatch sometime. I'd like to rewatch the Narnia movies too, because I was always into Narnia as a kid, because I didn't really get into Lord of the Rings. So I was into Narnia. I should rewatch the movies sometime. So those were kind of cool. Replied to your comment on this Q&A video, said, as a channel moderator, I'm going to have to ask you to not ask that many questions. Three strikes out, you have been warned. I don't think that's how it works. Yeah, it's weird, yeah. I mean, first of all, you haven't given him permission to be a channel moderator. Second of all, he is not a channel moderator. And yeah. I mean, unless he's joking. But yeah, I don't know. If Reed is actually channel moderator, then it was being deep dude. Yeah. Reed of all people, yeah. Kind of think he is, what, joking? He might be. If he's not, then that's a problem. Holy crap, it's midnight already. Yeah, you think he's joking, yeah. That would be a good thing to get cleared up. Yeah, it's already midnight. That just feels weird. It doesn't feel like, well, it feels like it, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Didn't even get up until a little after 9, which is not very late, but usually I get up at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, even when I don't have school. Like this summer, most days I was up by 8 or 8:30 at the latest. Even on days when I went to bed later, at like 2 a.m., which is weird. But yeah. What was that? Although this summer I did sleep in, I believe, the latest I've ever slept in, at least after getting a regular, like going to bed at a regular time. Because there was one time when I stayed up like really late and didn't get up until like 1 in the afternoon. But when I went to bed at a reasonable time, one time this summer I got up at like 11, which I think is my record for latest I've ever slept, if you're not counting the 1 in the afternoon. So glad I get to sleep in tomorrow. Wish I could on Sundays, but you can't due to church. Usually I only work on Fridays and Saturdays, and usually I work both of those days. But the next 2 weekends, I'm only working one of those days, So this Friday I get to sleep in, and then the Saturday after that I get to sleep in, which I am actually very excited for because I'm like, yes, I can sleep in and not have anything I need to do and go, do school or work or whatever. Work on Saturdays, but not in the morning. I usually do like sometime between 10 and 5. Only like 5 hours a day, just so I have time for homework and other stuff. You're fed up with church nowadays. Yeah. Going into church tired and bored, good times, totally. I know how that is. Of course, my mom thinks we're all going to hell if we don't attend church. See, I mean, I've always I don't know if I would assume it's the same way for you guys since you've said about that, but me having been the son of a pastor and everything, I've probably I can probably count on one hand the number of Sundays that I haven't been to church. So, yeah. But I think it depends. There's some times when it's just I don't really care. It's not great, but other times I actually am kind of interested or whatever. So the one that I'm going to right now, I quite like, because the pastor I've known for just about all of my life too. So and I don't think that it's necessarily an absolute bad thing to not go to church. I think you can definitely still be considered as a Christian or whatever if you don't. But I think it's probably better if you do. So you have to sit through 2 sermons. Yeah. I mean, my home church has 2 sermons on Sundays, one in the morning, one in the evening. And we usually go to both. So, but it's fine, usually. Anytime we can't find a good church, we just settle for one we really don't like because there's nothing else. Yeah. But it's a little weird because my home church, typically on a Sunday morning, we have a maximum of like 35 people, whereas the one I'm going to now down here on a Sunday morning has like at least 3 times that. So, yeah. There's different types of Christians, the spiritual and the religious. I agree with that. I believe there is a difference. The ones that say they are but don't act like it in public. Yeah, I do my best, but sometimes I kind of, with my sense of dark humor and jokes that I probably shouldn't say, but yeah, generally I try to. The spiritual religion is bad for you, actually, in a way. It's like mine. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. For sure. Yeah. because I feel like it's not supposed to be about the religion part of it. Like I don't know how to really explain it, but you guys probably know what I mean. But yeah, I feel like people focus more on the religious aspect of it than, you know, parents think they're putting a smile on God's face when they forbid their kids from listening to metal. Yeah. Oh, hey, it's Patrick. I don't know when I'm going to be finishing up the stream. It'll probably be fairly soon, but I'll probably go a little bit later than usual, but not too much. Maybe another 20 minutes. We'll see. Definitely not till 1, because it's only 12:09 right now here. So probably not till 1, but maybe till like 12:30. Just because I don't go into work tomorrow until noon. So if I want to, I can sleep in a little bit more. New album by Beartooth. I think I heard about that. I'm not really that into Beartooth, but you know, it's a thing. But I did hear about that. I agree, a lot of them go the religious way. Yeah, there was a few albums that came out today, actually, which was kind of neat. I believe a week from today, the new Behemoth album comes out, which I'm actually I'm looking forward to quite a bit, actually. And then Rise to Fall comes out with one. Well, now that it's technically Saturday, it comes out tomorrow. At least here. Like they say they're against legalism, yet they're still telling you what you shouldn't watch and what you shouldn't listen to. Yeah. Breaking Benjamin versus 3 Days Grace. I'm not that into 3 Days Grace, and so probably Breaking Benjamin. I mean, I like 3 Days Grace. I think they're good, but from what I have heard of them, they're good, but they're not incredibly good. I don't think, at least. Yeah. Yeah, both Zach and Patrick say Breaking Benjamin. Good job. One thing I don't like about sitting in this chair is that, like, my back will just start hurting instantly. The thing is, I'm usually sitting here for most of my day, too, because I don't do too much else, which is a problem. Never understood why 3 Days Grace got more attention than Breaking Benjamin. Did they get more attention? I'm actually not. I thought they were pretty equal, but maybe I'm wrong. Although I think I can see that they might have, yeah. They got more in 2011 and 2012. Well, yeah, Breaking Benjamin didn't release anything. That might be why. I mean, I can see them getting more attention. I know that back in like middle school and stuff, there was a couple of kids that like 3 Days Grace. And I didn't hear as much about Breaking Benjamin back around then. Although I did still have one or two friends that liked them, so. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually one of my friends in middle school. I was actually able to get them into Demon Hunter a little bit, which was kind of neat. They wouldn't get into Red though. They didn't like the vocals. They were too high pitched for him. Do I listen to Tool? Not really. I've heard a little bit of them, and it's okay, but it's not really my kind of thing, I guess. Maybe I'll get into them at some point, but who knows? What's my guilty pleasure in music? Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier with bands like Amaranth and stuff. Kind of stuff that has a little bit more of a pop element to it, I guess, or electronic element to it. Because there's a couple of bands like that I enjoy. I kind of like Amaranth. I like Follow the Cipher. They released an album, their debut album this year, Follow the Cipher, Starset, uh, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot that I really consider as a guilty pleasure for me, but I just like what I like and don't really care what anyone else really thinks of it. But I think one of the reasons Breaking Benjamin fell off for me was because my edgy ninth grade self thought they were the best band ever. Yeah, Linkin Park at one time was your favorite band. I never got into them that much, but I do like a few of their songs. I think they're good, but I just haven't got to listen to them a whole lot, which I'll have to do at some point. I've pretty much only just heard like some of the more popular songs. But I'd like to listen to them a little more at some point. Here's would be Motionless in White. I've heard of them. I've listened to them a little bit. It's okay, I guess. They were your favorite in the time when they only had 3 albums. Yeah, let me think. What else would there be for me? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. You like a little bit of indie stuff? Yeah. Can't think of very much other than what I already said. I mean, I think a couple of the songs on the newest Asking Alexandria album are all right, but those are more kind of hard rock style too, and less like their earlier stuff. But I think a couple of those songs are all right. Yeah, it's not much. You'd say fart set too, but I don't listen to them much anymore. Wow. Oh boy, you went there. What about Asking Alexandria? I mean, their newest album is I don't love it, but a couple of the songs on there are pretty good. Like Into the Fire, which is I think the most popular song from it. I actually really like that song. But the rest of it is okay. But it's not something I come back to that much. Worst band metalcore is mistaken for. Yeah, I don't really care for their earlier stuff, like I said, but Attila, yeah, I've heard some of them, and yeah, pretty much same here. I don't really care for them. Yeah, handicap metalcore. I'm trying to think if there are like any albums by bands that are usually good that I like that are typically disliked or anything like that, or songs even. But I'm not sure. Unless any of you guys can think of any that might apply to me. Limp Bizkit, oh yeah. Yeah, they do get quite a bit of hate, don't they? You get to see the Wiggles this weekend. Iron Maiden's their opening band. Gross. Patrick, why aren't you in our new server? Did you invite him? You like Creed's first album? I've heard a little bit of Creed, but not much. Oh, here's one. Not a huge fan, but I do like some of Papa Roach's stuff, like including their newer stuff, which most people typically prefer their older stuff. But I like a couple of the stuff from the Face Everything and Rise and the album before that. So I guess that works too. Yeah, there's not much I can really think of. You like Infest? Yeah. So the thing is, that kind of style I don't like quite as much, I guess, but yeah. You listen to any grindcore, it's like heavier than death metal, depending on the band. Somewhat. I know some people, well, I guess I would also consider Impending Doom's first album to be kind of like grindcore-ish, and I like that. I don't like a lot of good stuff, whatever. And then there's a band that I got into fairly recently, not like heavy into, but called Anal Nakrath or something like that. They're kind of hard to describe. They're kind of death metal, black metal, grindcore, something. So if that counts, then that. But generally, not really. Just rock and metal with electronics. Not necessarily with electronics, but sometimes. There are a lot of bands that I like that don't use many or any. I was going to say Sabaton, but they do use synths, but they're not in the same way, I guess. They're used similarly to a lot of like the 80s bands, I guess. I don't know. It's like 48 questions. I like a crap ton of music with synths. Well, yeah, because to me, synths are just another instrument that you can use. They use it the synths the right way. Yes, that is true. MJ, I swear. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just think that it, like any other instrument, if used well, can be good, and if used poorly, can be not good. So, yeah. But there are plenty of bands that I like that use don't really use that many. Don't worry, I'm done for real this time. Yeah. Although it is kind of difficult to find bands nowadays that don't use electronics in some form. Or even like back in the day, like I'm pretty sure in when I was listening to Power Slave, I heard one or two bits where it might have been synths, but I'm not sure. I understand, but nowadays I'd rather be into music that's more underproduced and overproduced for matches. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. But I don't think that having electronics necessarily means it's going to be overproduced, but I don't know. Like even of Beauty and Rage had electronics in it. It was just more subtle. They actually brought in Blue Stahli, who is an electronic rock musician that I actually quite like. They brought him in to work on Of Beauty and Rage to help out with like electronics and stuff. And you don't notice it as much when you listen to it, but you can find the instrumental versions of all the songs on the album, like on YouTube and stuff. And if you listen to that, it's a little bit more noticeable. Like on Darkest Part and stuff like that, you can hear it a little bit more. And it really adds to it, I think, in a really good way. If Pat is in, I'll give him a pat on the back. Okay, then. But yeah, I just think it comes down to how well it's used. You got it, but it says it's an invalid invite. The same thing happened to me trying to get into the old server, but now we have a new one, and yeah. Oh dear, not this again. Clever and genius, I know. That's right. Oh, yep, he's in now. Oh my goodness. want to review Forbidden by Black Sabbath, but it's one of their worst albums. I would say out of a lot of the classic bands, Black Sabbath is probably the one of the ones, at least, that I've heard the least, actually. I've heard Iron Man, I've heard War Pigs, and I think that's it. What's your guys' wish list for the next Demon Hunter album? Better than Outlive. I would say, I don't know. Obviously. Yeah. I don't know. I think a better balance, because I think Outlive was much more skewed in kind of less heavy kind of songs, and I'd like at least a little more balanced, if not more towards the heavier side. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just better quality and a little heavier. Considering joining a band and they're a metalcore band, should I join? Well, it depends on how good they are, I guess. B for maybe. I'll say B for maybe. Depends on what you think of them. As long as they aren't an emo metalcore band. Yeah. If you think they're good, then go for it. But if not, then probably don't. Do I Killswitch Engage? Yeah. Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, etc. The good bands. If they're like the good bands, then yes. One of the heaviest metalcore bands with real screams. Well, what does that mean? Like what's like a comparison, if you can think of one? Hate autocorrect. I do too. I hate it, but I love it, because if I didn't have it, then everything that I type on my phone would be absolutely nothing like I mean to type. But yeah. But sometimes it can annoy me. Save Yourself is a metalcore song. Definitely. I feel like Breaking Benjamin has metalcore elements. Dire Jane, for example, has a little metalcore like guitar chugging. Yeah, but a lot of stuff has that, though. So, I don't know. But, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But that's present in a lot of rock and metal anyway. So, I won't deny that maybe they have metalcore influences, but they're hard rock, yeah. Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of Jewish priests lately. Yeah. If you heard the song Breaking the Silence is the heaviest song I've ever heard. Oh, yeah. No, nothing can outdo Breaking the Silence. But I will say for Breaking Benjamin, it is probably one of their heaviest songs. But in general, definitely not. Yeah, I'll probably wrap up in a couple minutes. So, Sugarcoat might be the heaviest thing they've ever. Yeah, it's a pretty. Yeah, a lot of Saturate is fairly heavy, but yeah. At least for Breaking Benjamin, fairly heavy. Other than that, I don't know. Recently showed my friend a Sepultura song, and he literally responded with, "How do you listen to that scary music? It's terrifying." Saturate's a great album. I agree. It is a very good album. Sepultura I haven't listened to that much. Just gonna look at him real quick, just because I haven't listened to him, so I kind of want to. Oh, I see. I mean, if somebody isn't used to it, then I can kind of see that, I guess. But yeah. He's a Rat fan? Yes. That, yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, because, like, you know, I've been into metal for quite a few years now, so now I don't really hear much, or at times even see much that really gets. I mean, I might be a little surprised at times, but I'm not like, sucks that metal is this much frowned upon. I feel like it's not as bad now as it used to be, for sure. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily frowned upon. It's just not liked as much. You think rap is the most popular genre? Actually, statistically, at least in the US, it's pop. It used to be rock until a couple of years ago, but now it's pop. Evan, you aren't really into metal, though. Well, it depends. There's a lot of metal bands that I like, just not as much of some of the extremely popular ones and the classic ones. But as far as other ones, there are several. So, even countries become very popular. Yeah. That's true. I guess if you like foreign metal. What do you mean by foreign metal? Just from other countries, I would assume. I mean, a lot of the bands I like are from other countries anyway, but there's, you know, I lost my finger trap now. I was playing with it, and then I dropped it. Oh, it's under my chair. Now it's rolling away from me. I got it. We're all good. Everything about metal is popular. No longer Nick hates it so much. There's probably less popular stuff than metal, I would imagine. So, I mean, some of the best-selling albums of all time are metal albums, too. So, because, like, actually earlier, I was looking through, because Sabaton's album got, the quadruple platinum. So, I was looking up that to see what other albums had gotten that much. And there was like Metallica and a few other bands. Nick thinks because a band's popular means they're good. I mean, there's some popular bands that are good, some that are bad. Just like there are some unpopular bands that are good and some are bad. I think metal is still relatively popular, just not compared to rap and pop, but metal is one of the most played genres on Spotify. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, like I said, though, at least in the U.S., it was rock was the most popular in the U.S. I think it was like a quarter of the population considered that their favorite or whatever. Or something like that. I don't know exactly, but I heard that was a thing up until a few years ago, and then it became pop. The moment when you had a dumb friend, now you have the dumbest friend in the universe. See, it's getting to that point where I feel like I should end the stream, but I don't really feel like it, but I know I should. It's like I want to keep going, but I also want to sleep. I feel like within the last few years, sleep has become much more of an important thing to me. Because it really wasn't when I was a kid at all. And then from like 15 onwards, I was just like, sleep is like the best thing. Friend John, the one who introduced you to Demon Hunter, he only likes metalcore, but it's more than what Nick can even tolerate. Yeah. Nick's probably better than mainstream Max. At least Nick doesn't have his birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. Well, I suppose I will end the stream because I need sleep. And I don't like to be up extremely late, even though this isn't really extremely late, but it is for me. Or something. No! Don't! 12:41 where I am, same here. So, yeah. See, like, for me, pretty much any time past midnight is, like, fairly late. So, yeah. I don't know. Because usually, like, at home and stuff, I would go to bed around midnight at the latest. Maybe 1 o'clock if I was, like, staying up. Like, but usually I didn't want to stay up that late. You see MJ peeking through your window. You spelled peeking wrong, by the way. Because I'm one of those kinds of people that's just one of my pet peeves is like Mainstream Max is peeking through the window. Right, I always get that word confused. Yeah, and then Patrick did the same thing. Come on, people. Then again, in middle school, I won the spelling bee 2 years in a row. So, It's kind of a stupid thing to brag about, but I don't care. Actually, I went on to, I don't know if it, I think it was the regional level, not the state level, but I did that, and I messed up on the word furlong, which is Furlong, which I would have gotten if the woman reading everything didn't have a really, really strong Maine accent, because she said like furlong, so I did not get it right because of the way. And I think they actually ended up doing something after that, because one other person had the same problem later on in the spelling bee, so they ended up doing something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. You're horrible at spelling. You spelled horrible wrong. Yeah, it's a thing. MJ's at your window and with Wiggles concert tickets. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Actually, I think I saw a video a couple months ago where it was like the Wiggles performing in concert, but it was like fairly recent, and it was just a bunch of adults that were just rocking out to the song Big Red Car or something, and it was the most hilarious thing. Used to be good at spelling, don't know what happened. Guess my mind's all over the place these days, so that isn't really important to me. Yeah. I'm usually pretty good about it, but yeah. Cats or dogs? Dogs. Sorry, Zach. I've always preferred dogs. I like cats just fine too. I mean, my girlfriend has like the most adorable kitten in the world, but I prefer dogs for sure. But yeah, I'll probably finish up the stream now. So yeah. Yeah, MJ said he was going to be back forever ago, and he hasn't come back. So, yeah. Oh, you're not going to tell me not to end the stream this time, Zach? He's at your window? Yeah, that's true. Maybe he's taking so long because he came all the way. Hasn't he said he lives in like Washington or something? So he came literally across the U.S. Mario or Luigi? Probably Mario. I don't know. I mean, let's say, for example, whenever I played Mario Kart, mostly with my cousins, I always played as Bowser. So, yeah. That quickly, too, right? I didn't know MJ was the Flash or something. But guess I'll get done with the stream. So thanks for coming and stuff. Hope it was fun and whatnot. So talk to you guys later. Have a good night and stuff like that.